Okay, so welcome, Julia.
Good morning, Sarah. Good morning.
Yeah, welcome to our chat about modern day priestesses.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me. I'm really happy to be able to speak to you in this way.
Yeah, I'm happy.
So my name is Sarah Estelle, and I'm the facilitator of the Star of Gaia Priestess process. And I'm really happy that I have one of our current priestesses doing the Star of Gaia journey with us today. So thank you, Julia. So everybody, please meet Julia Jones. Would you tell everybody a little bit about you, Julia?
Yes, happy to. I'm Julia, and I'm an angel intuitive and holistic practitioner, and I work with Reiki and metamorphic technique, among other things. I'm a mum and grandmother, and have lots going on in my life, family-wise, and with respect to sort of growing business. So, yes.
You're right in the middle of it, aren't you?
I know, yes.
Great.
Yeah.
Everything's changing brilliantly for you. Yeah, so you are about, at the time of recording anyway, about 2/3 of the way through the priestess process. So you've got a really good sense. Excuse my voice is obviously something's trying to come through my throat chakra there in a good way. So yeah, so you're around 2/3 of the way through the process, so a good way through to feel into what it's like and what's changing. So now we had worked together before you joined the priestess process, but what drew you in? What called you? Because it is an inner calling. It's not for everybody, but for some people, it's like, I need to do this.
Yes, it was very much like that for me. I did the Show Up and Shine event that you'd run previously, and no sooner had I started on that then my soul was already calling me, saying, "You've got to do this." And it was just such a deep pulling, to follow it through. And yes, so that there was not really much question about it. It was, yes, got to do it.
Yeah, it is like that, and many people say the same thing.
Mm.
It was like that for me too. I,
Yeah.
I knew that it was kind of on my radar that it was something that I wanted to do. I didn't know how or with whom. And one day I just saw an advert. In fact, it was an email. And I was just like, a voice said out loud, I'm doing it. And I was like, who said that sort of thing? And it was just starting in like a couple of days before that. I didn't even know the person. I'd never met her before. And I was just like, oh, I'm doing it. So it is that kind of thing. So there is a pull. So interesting to hear your experience. So
Yeah.
we don't always know when we're in that space, but you're, as I said, you're far enough down the road now. What do you feel wasn't quite there? Because people often say that doing this kind of thing is the missing piece. So how did that feel for you?
Yes, I think, I've spent a lot of years working on my own self-healing, and I still hadn't reached a point where I really felt I knew myself as well as I do now. It is really like a missing piece, to be honest. It's getting to know yourself on a much deeper level. And I think with the things we cover during the process, the working with the elements and the shamanic astrology, it all suddenly makes sense how my life has panned out. I can see through the astrology why certain things have happened because they were necessary, because that's what I came here to learn. And yeah, it sort of puts a lot of things in those boxes that were previously, you know, you're thinking, well, why does this keep happening? And yes, so I guess I would call it a missing piece. Yeah.
And having that missing piece, what does it give you? How does that, because what I'm hearing is that there's a little bit of more acceptance of your life and who you are. Those
Yes,
are my words. How does it feel to you?
that is how it feels. It's being more comfortable in my own skin, knowing who I am more, because I don't think I ever totally knew who I really was for so many years. And this process is showing me who I am on a much deeper level, which is amazing.
Isn't it? Isn't it? It's a real inner journey, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's a real soul journey, and I think you know in your heart if it's really meant for you.
So can you give us just a tiny peek into something that you've learned that's enabled you to feel more peaceful and more accepting? If you were to choose one thing, what would that be to give everybody a taste?
Well, first of all, the sisterhood as well is very supportive. You feel totally safe to share exactly what's on your heart, on your mind, and there's no judgment. It's all support, and that is invaluable to me. And I like to be able to support others in the same way. So it's a real joy to be able to do that, to be in this safe environment and you're just helping one another. And of course, you, Sarah, provide that wonderful space, and your nurturing qualities, they're always present, and it's just a wonderful process.
Isn't it interesting that having those safe spaces kind of allows us to relax and open, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because it is one of the things of the priestess process, of any priestess journey, is that we say all of us is needed. And so therefore, there's no room for judgment or anything like that. We are just with each other. And we don't always find that in places, do we? There's no fix. No fix.
No.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's very beautiful. I think it is a missing thing. And all women have that kind of yearning inside of them, don't they? Often, because
I think they do, just to be loved and accepted for who they are, and I think it helps immensely. Yeah, just to have that space to be who you are and express.
Yeah. So as we said at the beginning, you're still in sort of you'll be emerging as a priestess from the time of this recording in, I don't know, maybe about 3 months' time. So, but already you're changing from the inside and your outside's changing. So, I'd love to hear how it is for you by the end of, in 6 months' time, you're going to be even further down your road. But for now, what are these inner shifts and feeling safer and more accepting and peaceful about who you are and how your life has been and what that's gifted you? How is that showing in your outside life, in your personal life, in your business? You don't have to go into huge detail here, but if you could give us a little feel, that would be amazing.
Well, it's given me more more self-belief, because previously there was a lot of comparison and, you know, feeling somebody's further along, and you sort of constantly feeling a little bit, oh, maybe I should be doing this, or maybe I should be doing that. And it's given me more confidence going forward with developing business as well, with the creative flow as well. It's it's kind of flowing through me more, whereas I was quite stuck for quite a while, and really not knowing which way to go. And I just feel that this is really just helping everything to flow much better.
Yeah, it's all about that, isn't it? It's the flow. It is the flow. And I hear from what you're saying, sometimes for me too, it's hard to kind of actually put into words the experience, because it's a deep soul connection. So translating it into the 3D outside sometimes is tricky. Yeah.
Yes, but overall, I just feel more confident, and yes, I feel I've got more direction, and just generally feeling more at peace with who I am and what I'm here to do.
And I know, and I'm sure everybody can tell by just sitting in your energy, one of your superpowers is nurturing people, isn't it? And you're starting to own that now.
Yes.
It's who you are. And
yes.
You're here to do that kind of work, help people love themselves.
Yes. Yes. It's very important that we do love ourselves, and that's not in an egotistical way, as you know. It's developing that deep respect for ourselves, isn't it? Honouring who we are.
And I know as well that you have, you mentioned at the beginning that you have grandchildren, and I know from previous discussions how important you feel it is to pass this on down.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, I mean, the children are the future, aren't they? And we need to nurture them for this new earth.
Can you imagine how it would have been if we'd been in circle as young children, or even as teenagers? How different it would have been.
Yes, how different.
Well, thank you, Julia, for sharing your story. Is there anything else that you'd like to share that I haven't asked you, or that just wants to flow through and come out?
I just feel that, you know, if anyone out there is really thinking about doing this process, is to go with your heart and do what feels right, because the heart knows.
It does. And of course, that's advice for all parts of life, isn't it? When we follow our hearts, things get easier.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you, Julia. I'm really, really happy that we got this time to chat. And I hope I'm sure everybody's really enjoyed meeting you and hearing your words of wisdom.
It's been lovely.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarah.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.